Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. A lot of us are fiercely protective of the shows we watch and the books we read, as we attach a lot of nostalgia to them. It might shock people to know that some of our favorite and most loved cartoons have been rip-offs. And on that note, let us get into 10 popular cartoon rip-offs that actually exist. Number 10. Naruto vs. Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter was originally a Japanese manga written and illustrated by Yoshihiro Togashi and was made into a 62-episode anime in 1999. This show revolved around the life of Gon Freeze, a young kid trying to walk in his father's footsteps by becoming a rare treasure hunter. Naruto, created by Masashi Kishimoto, is based on a similar concept about a young ninja who has dreams of becoming the leader of his village. Although Naruto follows a different path than Gon, the show has more than a few striking similarities, particularly in certain parallel characters, and the story is also very similar in relation to Hunter x Hunter's exam and Naruto's Chunin exam. Kishimoto has publicly stated that he was directly inspired by Hunter x Hunter, but it's hard to draw so much inspiration without coming close to just ripping off the source material.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vs. Pokémon. There are few shows that are able to earn the title of being pop culture phenomenon, and even fewer that were as big as Pokémon. The story of young Ash and his quest to become the best Pokémon trainer ever resonated greatly with Western audiences. Pikachu and the rest of the Pokémon took the planet by storm, and it didn't take long for copycats to start cropping up around the corner. Although the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga was for sure its own thing, the developers of the anime decided to cash out on the incredible success of Pokémon. What was once a story about a young gambler quickly turned into a show about a few collectible cards involving pocket monsters fighting one another. Coincidence? We don't think so. Fans of Pokémon quickly embraced Yu-Gi-Oh! But while the show found some popularity, it never quite reached the heights of its pocket monster predecessor. Number 8. Totally Spies vs. Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels has to be one of the most legendary shows ever put into existence. It featured Farrah Fawcett, Kate Jackson, and Jaclyn Smith as 3 crime fighters that are employed by a private detective agency headed by their mysterious boss, Charlie. Despite the fact that there were quite a few harsh criticisms of the show, Charlie's Angels became an incredibly popular show, in equal parts due to its swift action, saucy humor, and of course, the 3 charming actresses. The mesmerizing 70s show earned cult status and had a huge influence on pop culture, inspiring a couple live-action movie remakes, as well as countless copycats, including the comedy cartoon favorite, Totally Spies. With a particularly unique animated style, Totally Spies is about the lives of 3 teenagers trying to balance school life with their lives as spies. It teeters that fine line between homage and knockoff, and in the end, does not manage to compare with the weight and impact left by Charlie's Angels. Number 7. TEAMO Supremo vs. Powerpuff Girls. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are perhaps the most infamous animated trio ever. The Powerpuff Girls aired on Cartoon Network and was developed by animator Craig McCracken. The show focuses on the 3 sisters who possess superpowers and were brought to life by the scientist Professor Utonium. With a fun blend of old-school animation and witty, satirical humor, the Powerpuff Girls became an overnight success, making it big with audiences and earning 6 Emmy Award nominations in the process. It was a success that was seen as something quite difficult to replicate, and as TEAMO Supremo showed, even harder to rip off. It was first released in 2002 on the Disney Channel. Supremo also revolved around 3 tiny kids with superhero powers, making use of a similar animation style as Powerpuff Girls. Unfortunately, it was never able to mimic the success of the Powerpuff Girls, whose immense success can still be felt to this day. Number 6. Johnny Test vs. Dexter's Lab. As one of the key shows of Cartoon Network's golden age, Dexter's Lab follows boy genius Dexter, who possesses a secret laboratory inside the recesses of his bedroom. Most episodes are about his many experiments that come under fire from his annoying sister Dee Dee, who always manages to sneak into his lab. The brainchild of Genndy Tartakovsky, Dexter's Lab is a quirky and artistic blast crammed with robots, superpowered monkeys, and giant monsters. The very same kind of mischief, fun, and overall fascination is difficult to come across often, and though Johnny Test tried it, it didn't exactly succeed. Not only does Johnny Test focus on child geniuses and sibling rivalry, but it literally steals the identical animation style of Dexter's Lab, with quite a few characters being seen as carbon copies. Number 5. Jabberjaw vs. Scooby-Doo. Hanna-Barbera is the animation studio that earned the biggest hit on their hands ever with the initial release of Scooby-Doo. This fun cartoon followed the adventures of 4 teenagers and their Great Dane that could talk, as they investigated paranormal mysteries involving supernatural demons, creatures that usually turned out to be an old guy in disguise. It definitely goes without saying that Scooby and the gang went on to become an inspiration for an entire string of ripoffs, including a show about a goofy talking shark. Jabberjaw was released in 1975 and is basically the underwater version of Scooby-Doo, swapping out Scooby snacks for fish food. Like its predecessor, it followed around a group of young teens and their animal companion as they solved mysteries. Unfortunately, Jabberjaw only had half the appeal of Scooby and was canceled after just 1 season. Yikes. Number 4. Jetsons vs. Flintstones. This one also happens to be another Hanna-Barbera classic. The Flintstones was a pop culture hit that's somehow just as popular today as it was when it first released. The misadventures of the Flintstones and the Rubbles hit the perfect balance between cheeky humor and relatable problems. The cartoon series quickly became a favorite within both kids and their parents. As a matter of fact, the Flintstones gained such popularity that Barbera decided to entirely replicate the nuclear family formula into a setting just a few years later with the Jetsons. The Jetsons is basically the same plot as its prehistoric predecessor, with all the similar elements, including marital drama, cheesy humor, and those annoying laugh tracks. Switching out talking dinosaurs for talking robots didn't really fool audiences, however, and the futuristic family was canceled after 1 brief season. Number 3. Big Bad Beetleborgs vs. Power Rangers. By the mid-90s, the craze about Power Rangers had officially made the world go crazy, and production companies did not fail to notice. This fascination started a slew of Mighty Morphin knockoffs, one of the most successful being Big Bad Beetleborgs. This idea was conjured up by Saban Entertainment, which was the same production company responsible for Power Rangers. Beetleborgs is about 3 kids who have the ability to turn into their favorite comic book heroes in order to fight crime. Like Power Rangers, the series cut up combat footage together from another Japanese series, JUKOBI Fighter, with new American footage into a sci-fi action flick whose main function was to sell toys. Along with the recycling of footage, Beetleborgs was simply a vehicle used to sell kids another line of toys and products that are most likely now collecting dust in your parents' attic. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by one of our subscribers, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it on over to us. We might even feature it on future videos. Number 2. This is a picture that shows the difference between American and Chinese SpongeBobs, but this is not an official Chinese SpongeBob. It is in fact a video series by the Amsterdam-based comedy group Boom Chicago, titled SpongeBob SquarePants in China. The first video was released in 2007, went viral, and encouraged the group to create a follow-up 5 years later, titled SpongeBob SquarePants in China 2. The Boom Chicago site advertises it as the biggest YouTube comedy video of all time from the Netherlands, with over 80 million views. Number 1. Flintstones vs. Honeymooners. The Flintstones managed to last 6 seasons and was even nominated for an Outstanding Comedy Series Emmy, which is an incredible milestone moment in animation. This show managed to exceed Hanna-Barbera's wildest expectations in the early 60s. However, The fact that the modern Stone Age family was so wildly successful shouldn't have come as a shock to anyone, especially since the Flintstones was basically a ripoff of the already popular Honeymooners. Released in 1955, Jackie Gleason's comedic take on working-class America was an incredible success and became one of the greatest American television shows of all time. Remaking The Honeymooners so that both adults and kids could enjoy it was a masterstroke by Barbera, even though the animation company never fully admitted to ripping it off. Still, the similarities cannot be ignored, and today it's widely accepted that Fred and Wilma are just cheap, although successful, copies of Ralph and Alice. And that concludes our list of the 10 popular cartoon ripoffs that actually exist. Let us know in the comment section below which one of these was an actual favorite of yours. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon.